In the remote highlands of northern Pakistan, nestled between pine-covered hills and surrounded by misty mountains, there existed a village so forgotten that even the maps had long erased its name. It was called Ziarabad. At least, that's what the old road sign claimed, bent and rusted, half swallowed by thorny bushes. Ziarabad had no electricity, no cell towers, and no visitors. The locals, a dwindling group of no more than 20 families, lived simple, quiet lives and were wary of strangers. Their faces were lined not just by age, but by some heavy burden they never spoke of. It was during the monsoon season when Tariq, a young photojournalist from Lahore, stumbled upon the village. He was working on a documentary about forgotten places in Pakistan, tribal regions, abandoned forts, ancient shrines, and Ziarabad seemed like a perfect addition. His guide, an old man named Yusuf, stopped their jeep a mile outside the village and refused to go further. "You can walk from here," Yusuf said, his eyes avoiding Tariq's. "Why?" "It's not good to go there after sunset. People forget things. Even themselves." "You're joking?" "I've never joked about Ziarabad in 65 years. Tariq laughed off the warning, assuming it was just superstition. With his camera bag slung over his shoulder, he walked the narrow trail toward the village. The wind grew colder, sharper, as if the mountains were exhaling secrets. Upon entering Ziarabad, the first thing Tariq noticed was the silence. No laughter, no chatter, no birdsong. Just the low groan of wind through broken windows and the creaking of old wooden doors. The villagers stared as he passed, their expressions guarded, unreadable. One elderly woman dropped her water pot when she saw him and muttered something under her breath. "He comes with dusk. He brings the shadow." Tariq was unsettled but pressed on. He introduced himself to the village head, Baba Sadiq, who offered him shelter in an unused house at the edge of the village. "You may stay one night." "No more," Baba said.
"Why?"
"I just want to explore, take photos. Ziarabad has been sleeping a long time. Your camera may wake things that should not be woken." That night, Tariq couldn't sleep. He reviewed the photos on his camera, only to discover that many of the images were corrupted. Strangely, the ones taken in broad daylight had strange smudges, like smoky figures, hovering near the villagers. Suddenly, he heard whispers outside his window. He peeked through the broken glass. No one was there, but the whispers grew louder, clearer. They spoke an unfamiliar dialect, and yet somehow he understood. "Return what was taken before the moon dies." The next morning, he questioned Baba Sadiq about the village's history. Baba was reluctant, but eventually said, 100 years ago, Ziarabad was not like this. It was vibrant, alive, until she came." "Who?" "Her name is not to be spoken. She came from the hills, not human, not jinn. Something in between. She asked for shelter for one night. And when she left, the village began to decay. People forgot their pasts, children were born with no memories, and each full moon, someone disappears." Tariq tried to dismiss it as folklore, but deep down, something gnawed at him. That evening, as he walked through the village with his camera, he noticed a girl in white, standing at the well. She was barefoot, her long black hair covering her face. He raised his camera. She looked up. Her eyes were completely white. Before he could react, she whispered something that turned his blood cold. "You don't belong here. Leave or stay forever." Then she vanished. That night, Tariq packed his bags to leave. But when he tried to exit the village, every path twisted back on itself. No matter where he turned, he ended up in front of the same abandoned mosque. Panicked, he returned to Baba Sadiq. "I can't leave." "What is happening?" "It's too late now. She has seen you." "Who?" "The woman of the well. The one who feeds on memory." The air in Ziarabad was no longer just cold. It was heavy, suffocating, filled with the weight of unseen eyes. Tariq stayed awake the entire night, lights on, camera clutched in his hand. His mind replayed the whisper from the girl at the well. "You don't belong here. Leave or stay forever." But there was no way to leave. Every path led back to the same abandoned mosque. It was as if the village had turned into a loop, a maze with no exit. The next morning, Tariq demanded answers from Baba Sadiq. There has to be a road. I came here just yesterday. The mountains didn't move. The village isn't part of your world anymore, Baba said solemnly. It is stuck between days, between history and forgetting. And now so are you. Tariq refused to believe it. There must be some explanation. I'm hallucinating. Maybe the food. Maybe this is all in my head. Baba sighed. That's what we all said the first night she came. We thought she was just a tired traveler. But when she left, things changed. The children forgot their names. People aged overnight. And one by one, they started disappearing. What does she want? Not blood, not souls. Just memories. She feeds on them. The girl in white. As days passed, Tariq tried to record the village life, hoping his camera might catch something he missed with his eyes. But in every photo, the girl in white appeared somewhere. Sometimes far off, at the edge of a field. Sometimes staring from a rooftop. Always watching. One evening, he caught a boy sketching something in the dust. It was a spiral, the same spiral etched on the doors of many homes in Ziarabad. Tariq asked him about it. It's her mark, the boy said quietly. She puts it on people she wants to keep. Tariq looked down at his own camera bag. A spiral was scratched faintly into the leather. He froze. That night, the dreams began. Dreams of the forgotten. Tariq dreamed of another life, of walking through Lahore streets, of his mother calling him for breakfast, of childhood laughter and favorite books. But with each dream, a piece faded. The face of his mother blurred. His name echoed without meaning. Familiar things grew foreign. When he woke up, he couldn't remember his own last name. In panic, he opened his wallet. His ID card was blank. He ran to Baba Sadiq. She's taking my memories, he shouted. Yes, Baba replied grimly. And soon, you'll forget you were ever not from here. That's how she keeps Ziarabad alive. By erasing the past of those who come here and turning them into villagers. But why? What is she? A curse. A creation of sorrow. Some say she was once a woman whose village was burned by invaders. Her husband, her child, all forgotten. She wandered the mountains with only grief. And grief shaped her into something not quite human. A being that devours memories so no one forgets her pain. Is there a way to stop her? Baba looked hesitant. There was once a shrine. High up in the hills, behind the waterfall, a Sufi saint had sealed her name inside an amulet. As long as it stayed sealed, she could not fully control the village. But the amulet was lost long ago. Tariq had only one thought: find the amulet. The journey to the shrine. With the help of a young villager named Azim, who had not yet been marked, Tariq set out to find the shrine. The climb was treacherous, the path overgrown with thorns and fog. Halfway up the hill, Azim collapsed. I'm forgetting my sister's face. I can't remember where I was born. Stay with me, Azim, Tariq shouted, dragging him forward. At the peak, hidden behind a curtain of falling water, they found the ruins of the shrine. The stone walls were crumbled, moss-covered, but at the center lay a rusted chest with a spiral carved deep into its lid. Inside it was a small, silver amulet with Arabic calligraphy etched into it. Tariq picked it up, and immediately the wind howled through the valley. The fog thickened. The whispering began. Return it or forget yourself. The girl in white appeared at the edge of the shrine ruins. But now, she wasn't a ghost. She was many, dozens of versions of her flickering in and out of sight. Her form split and reformed, like a shattered soul trying to glue itself together with others' memories. You would steal it from me? She asked, voice cold and hollow. I just want to remember who I am. Then give it to me, and I will give you peace. Tariq clutched the amulet and shouted the words etched on its back. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. Light burst from the amulet. The ghostly form screamed and vanished into the hills. The spiral symbols on homes cracked and peeled away. A rush of wind swept through Ziarabad. And suddenly it was quiet again. The dawn of remembrance. Tariq woke up in the same room, but something had changed. The colors of the village were brighter. Birds chirped. Children laughed. Villagers spoke freely again. The fog was gone. He ran to the road. It was there. Yusuf's jeep was parked, and the old man stood leaning on it with wide eyes. "You made it out?" Yusuf asked. Tariq checked his wallet. His name, address, and ID were back. Epilogue. The Price of Memory. Weeks later, in Lahore, Tariq released his documentary, Ziarabad, the village that time forgot. It gained massive attention. But when curious tourists tried to find Ziarabad, there was no sign. No road. No trail. Only forest. Tariq tried to return himself. But he never found the path again. Still, he often dreams of the girl in white, standing at the well, watching with sad, endless eyes. And sometimes, when he's editing photos late at night, he hears a whisper. Some memories should remain forgotten.